This book is called Zen Shorts by John J. Muth. It looks like my character is going to be a panda bear wearing shorts, holding an umbrella. This book, if we see this up here, says it was a Caldecott Honor book. When Stillwater, a giant panda... Oh, I just learned my character's name. When Stillwater, a giant panda, moves into Addie, Michael, and Carl's neighborhood, he tells them the most amazing stories. He tells Addie the tale of a poor man who gives gifts to a robber. He tells Michael of a farmer who knows that luck can be neither judged nor predicted. And to Carl, he tells the tale of a monk who carries the weight of a burden long past. With vibrant watercolors and elegant ink drawings, John J. Muth and Stillwater the Bear imaginatively present three classic Zen stories that abound with enlightenment and love. Zen is part of the Buddhism religion, which really looks inward for mindfulness and enlightenment and love and peace. It's something interesting to read about if you ever get bored. It's hard to do this one-handed. I'm used to reading upside down, not one-handed. This book was written for Ballard Borich, the giant panda I've often found dancing on my porch. That's funny. That's weird. All right. I have a boy hugging a door. Why is he hugging a door? That's weird. Does he want to get out? Does he want to get in? Is somebody trying to get in? That's weird. There's a window. Looks open. Michael, there's a bear outside, said Carl. A what? Called Michael. Got it. A bear. He's really big, and he's in our backyard. What's he doing? Michael asked. He's sitting. He has an umbrella, said Carl. An umbrella? Oh, I see. He wanted to get into Michael's room. I'm sorry for arriving unannounced, said the bear. The wind carried my umbrella all the way from my backyard to your backyard. I thought I would retrieve it before it became a nuisance. He spoke with slight panda accent. And this is how Addie, Michael, and Carl met Stillwater. The next day, Addie went to have tea with Stillwater. Hello, Addie said as she stepped inside. Come in, a faraway voice called. Then she heard the voice say, Oh, yes, come out, come out. Stillwater was in the backyard. Oh, did she bring him a gift? Looks like a little bamboo tree. He likes bamboo art. He was in a tent. This is a birthday present from my Uncle Ray, Stillwater said. He always gives presents on his birthday to celebrate the day he was born. I like it so much that I'm not staying in my house right now. Stillwater invited Addie to sit with him. You brought me some cake, said Stillwater. That was very nice of you. Is it your birthday? He asked. No, said Addie. It's not mine either, said Stillwater. But let me give you a gift for my uncle's birthday. I will tell you a story. I wonder why they brought gifts for each other. Have you ever brought gifts for somebody? Just when you see them? A cake with a piece of bamboo. Huh? Uncle Rye and the Moon. My Uncle Rye lived alone in a small house up in the hills. He didn't own many things. He lived a simple life. One evening, he discovered he had a visitor. A robber had broken into the house and was rummaging through my uncle's few belongings. The robber didn't notice Uncle Rye, and when my uncle said, "Hello," the robber was so startled he almost fell down. My uncle smiled at the robber and shook his head. "Welcome, welcome. How nice of you to visit." The robber opened his mouth to speak, but he couldn't think of anything to say. because Rye never lets anyone leave empty-handed. He looked around the tiny hut for a gift for the robber, but there was nothing to give. The robber began to back toward the door. He wanted to leave. At last, Uncle Rye knew what to do. He took off his only robe, which was old and tattered. "Here," he said, "please take this." Wow. One, I saw the word tattered, and I'm wondering what that means. So I'm going to look at my clues, and I see a robe that looks kind of not perfect, right? It looks like it's got patches, maybe some tears. It's got a little raggedy edge. It's not perfect. So tattered must mean just a little old and used and worn out. And I'm also surprised. Does anything surprise you on this page? He's getting robbed and he's giving the robber a gift. Seems awfully generous to give him the shirt off his back, right? It's kind of crazy. The robber thought my uncle was crazy. Of course, the robber thought my uncle was crazy. He took the robe and dashed out the door and escaped into the night. My uncle sat and looked at the moon, its silvery light spilling over the mountains, making all things quietly beautiful. "Poor man," lamented my uncle. "All I had to give him was my tattered robe. If only I could have given him this wonderful moon." Oh. Seems awfully generous. Shh. Shh. "Your uncle sounds nice," said Addie. "I don't think I could have given away my only robe." "I know how that is," said Stillwater, "but there's always the moon." "That was a good story," said Addie. "Thank you," said Stillwater. "And this is good cake." "Thanks," said Addie. "I made it myself." Cake. Oh, I gotta move. Oh. The next day, Michael went to see Stillwater. "Here I am," Stillwater called from the tree. "Can I come up?" asked Michael. "If you are careful," said Stillwater. "What if we could fly?" said Michael. "We could cast shadows on clouds," said Stillwater. "But what if we fell?" said Michael. "If we fell, we might break something," said Stillwater. "That would be bad," said Michael. "Maybe," said Stillwater. "Maybe," said Michael. Oh my gosh. The farmer's luck. There was once an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned bringing with it 2 other wild horses. "Such good luck," the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," replied the farmer. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown off, and broke his leg. What do you think his answer is going to be? Again, the neighbors came to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. "Such bad luck," they said. "Maybe," said the farmer. Misfortune. So if you're a fortune is a lot of money, it's a lot of wealth. If you're fortunate, you have something good. If you're misfortunate or you have misfortune, that means something bad's probably happened, right? Bad luck. So these words kind of go together here. The day after that, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army to fight in a war. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed by him. "Such good luck," cried the neighbors. "Maybe," said the farmer. So we're going from an instance that helps them and hurts them, helps them and hurts them. What are you thinking about? Have you ever had something happen that you thought was bad, but it turned out it was good? Or something that was good that turned out to be bad? All right. I get it, said Michael. Maybe good luck and bad luck are all mixed up. You never know what will happen next. Yes, Stillwater agreed. You never know. The day after that, Carl went to visit Stillwater. I'm guessing Addie got a story. Michael got a story. I think Carl's going to get a story. I don't know what it's going to be about, though. The day after that, Carl went to visit Stillwater. Michael said I couldn't bring over our stuff to go swimming. I'm mad at Michael. He's always telling me what to do, so I brought everything. Said Stillwater. It's a little pool. I don't know if all those things will fit. Let's see, said Carl. Let's see, said Stillwater. Stillwater looked at the pool. The things can go swimming, but we can't, he said. I brought too much stuff, said Carl. That's okay, said Stillwater. I'll help you carry it home later. That was nice of him. Why does Michael always have to tell me what to do? Carl said. If he were here, I would climb up really high. And I would jump on him like this. And I'd do a big smash like this. Later, Carl and Stillwater had tea. Carl, said Stillwater, you spent the whole day being angry with Michael. Did you notice how much fun we had? Carl watched the steam rise from his cup. I'm sorry I brought all this stuff, said Carl said. You don't need to be sorry, said Stillwater. Right now you need to carry. Hold on tight, and I will tell you a story. Oh, he let his anger cloud enjoying the moment, right? By carrying stuff, I wonder if he means by carrying stuff. Sometimes we say we have a lot of stuff in our head. We carry a lot with us that we don't really need. It's all keeping us kind of heavy in our head. I'm wondering if that's what the author's saying here is he'll help him carry all of his stuff. Meaning, let's unload some of these things from your head. Let's get some of these anger out of your heart. Let's unload. Let's get lighter, right? Leave all these things that are making you heavy and mad to the side. A heavy load. Here we go. 2 traveling monks reached a town where there was a young woman waiting to step out of her sedan chair. What's a sedan chair? Let's use our picture clues here. Looks like it's 2 things, people, animals carrying a chair, almost like you would see a long time ago. I've seen that in picture books before. So the person doesn't have to walk. It's kind of a sign of royalty and wealth that, or respect that the person doesn't have to do the walking. They carry them. They don't get dirty or sweaty. Okay, let's try again. A heavy load. 2 traveling monks reached a town where there was a young woman waiting to step out of her sedan chair. The rains had made deep puddles, and she couldn't step across without spoiling her silken robes. She stood there looking very cross and impatient. Mad. She was scolding her attendants. They had nowhere to place the packages they held for her, so they couldn't help her across the puddle. Oh, looks like they had a decision. They either could help her or they could help the packages, but they couldn't do both. And she's mad. She seems like she's used to people doing a lot of things for her. She expects a lot. The younger monk noticed the woman, said nothing, and walked by. The older monk quickly picked her up and put her on his back, transported her across the water, and put her down on the other side. She didn't thank the older monk. She just shoved him out of the way and departed. If we depart, we leave, right? As they continued on their way, the young monk was brooding and preoccupied. After several hours, unable to hold his silence, he spoke out. That woman back there was very selfish and rude. But you picked her up on your back and carried her. Then she didn't even thank you." "I set the woman down hours ago," the older monk replied. "Why are you still carrying her?" What does that mean? See, the older monk is saying, I did the good deed. I helped her. She treated me poorly, and I've let it go. I moved on. I don't want that to fill that heavy load. I don't want it to fill my head, right? Kind of like Carl having all that heavy stuff or bringing all that stuff over. He said, I let that go. And he's wondering why the other monk is complaining about it and angry still, saying, why are you carrying her? "Do you think you have carried it long enough?" asked Stillwater. "Yes," said Carl. "Good," said Stillwater. And this is how Addie, Michael, and Carl and Stillwater became friends. Author's note. Oh, here we go. What is Zen? Zen is a Japanese word that simply means meditation. In Zen, the teachings of the Buddha have always been passed down from teacher to student. The Buddha's method of meditation was to sit very still, yet remain completely alert, allowing first one thought, then another, to rise and pass away, holding on to none of them. When you look into a pool of water, if the water is still, you can see the moon reflected. If the water is agitated, or has been disrupted or moved, right, the moon is fragmented and scattered. It is harder to see the true moon. Our minds are like that. When our minds are agitated, angry, moved, things are in it, we cannot see the true world. Stillwater's name came from this. His character is based partly on the Zen artist, teacher, Sengai Gibbon, whose drawings were used as gentle teaching tools. He was known for his humor and unorthodox teaching style. Uncle Rai is based on Ryokan Taigu. He was one of Japan's, I'm going to have to look up and see how to pronounce these in Japanese, how the vowels go. He was one of Japan's best-loved poets. Zen shorts are short meditations, ideas to puzzle over, tools which hone our ability to act with intuition. They have no goal, but they often challenge us to re-examine our habits, desires, concepts, and fears. So what that means, do you have any ideas? What does it mean to hone something? Have you ever heard of honing a stone or a piece of metal? And we're going to hone our ability to act with intuition. So we're going to kind of polish it, right? We're going to kind of perfect it. We're going to kind of dig in on it. So with our meditations, we don't have a goal. We don't really have an outcome that we need. They're often there to challenge us to re-examine our habits, our desires, concepts, and fears. So we're there to think about thinking, right? The stories Uncle Rai and the Moon and A Heavy Load come from Zen Buddhist literature, which has been passed along from centuries. The story of the farmer's luck has roots going back to Taoism, which is several thousands of years old. There are many versions of these stories. I have chosen the ones that I feel speak best to the youngest audience. The end.